let's talk about narcissism. What's up, y'all? It's Joi from the Joi Element, and I am here in the midst of quarantine with no nails done. I did as best as I could job on my hair, braiding it for the first time. No, I'm not posting a tutorial because nobody wants to see that. But I am here in the midst of quarantine to talk about narcissism and how you can recover if you're someone who has dealt with narcissism in relationships. So let's start by defining narcissist and narcissism. Narcissism is defined as the excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance. So typically when we think of the narcissist, it's the person that only has themselves on their Instagram feed or their Twitter feed. They constantly talk about themselves, and if we're looking at it in astrology, who do you normally think of as the narcissist of the group? Leo. That's the one that we typically think of when we are looking at the zodiac. But how we define narcissism, how do we define the typical narcissist and actual narcissistic personality disorder are three different things. No, the person that has themselves and themselves only on their Instagram feed isn't by definition typically a narcissist. They may exhibit narcissistic behaviors, but that does not necessarily make them a narcissist. So where do we get the term narcissist from? Narcissist comes from the story in Greek mythology about Narcissus. Narcissus was a hunter who actually caused his own demise because he fell in love with the reflection of himself in the river. And I will allow you to continue reading that story. It's actually a really good story, and it does define for us what we typically think of as a narcissist, and that is where the term came from. So narcissistic personality disorder is normally defined as an actual disorder where someone has an inflated sense of self and self-importance. This can typically be caused by someone getting too much affection and too much love and attention in childhood, or not enough or none at all. And I pulled these terms from Dr. Ramani's YouTube channel, as well as what I have experienced in my own life, my own lived experiences, and I'm coming here with my own take on these things. If you are interested to follow the work that she does, it's incredible work. She actually has helped me to redefine and understand what narcissism means. Definitely follow her channel, Dr. Ramani on YouTube. She's super dope. But typically how we can differentiate between somebody who just has a bloated but high view of themselves and someone who is an actual narcissist is their childhood. Narcissism isn't something that can be therapied out. It's not necessarily something, or at all usually something that can be remedied through therapy. Wherever that individual is on a narcissistic scale, they will stay there. They may rise up a little bit and find some empathy in certain places, but majority of the time they will stay where they are. Narcissistic personality disorder usually is an instance of nature versus nurture. We intrinsically are selfish. We have to let our needs be known as babies so people can give us what we need, give us what we want. Do we want attention? Do we want food? Do we want to play? What do we need? So we have to show ourselves and make as much noise and bring as much attention to ourselves so we can get our needs met. The problem with those that have narcissistic characteristics or actual narcissistic personality disorder, that switch never flips. It's constantly stuck on what I need, and whatever I need to do to be able to get what I need, everybody else be damned. So how do you know you're dealing with a narcissist? For me, and I'm going to speak from my own personal experience, for me, I was either presented with a sob story or the success story. Generally, it was a sob story. I, at one point, was the perfect candidate for an individual who was a narcissist because I went out of my way to share and fix and do whatever I needed to do to make this person happy. I did not realize that was causing a lot of my problems, but that was actually what was causing a lot of my problems. And a narcissist zones in on that. I don't know if it's a heat-seeking missile. I don't know if they just really get into that spot where they know what's up, but they typically are the ones who can real in on that, get real close into that space and go like, ooh, this person's going to give me exactly what I want. They're going to do it the way that I want. And I don't have anything that I have to give to this person outside of the affection that majority of the time is fabricated, because I want to get what I need to get from this person. Yeah. What I got to do? Who I got to talk to? Where I got to sign up? Most narcissists are predators. They are looking for someone to fill in those gaps that a childhood may have left wide open, or it was small enough and they want to, try to break that thing open so that more things can fill in. A narcissist is never going to be satisfied. A narcissist is never going to be fixed. There's nothing that you can do to really help a narcissist. So how do you recover if you are someone who has dealt with a narcissist, especially in relationships? For me, it has been learning my boundaries, and not only learning my boundaries, but holding on to my boundaries. So let's expand on the boundaries. The boundaries for me personally have been, I'm not going to allow anyone to love bomb me, to come in and tell me all the things, to come in and say that they're going to give me this and they're going to give me that. Have you ever experienced this when you are, in a store? Remember stores? Stores were great. So you're in a store and there's this overly eager person that is coming in and asking you if you need help. How can they make things better for you? How can they make this experience, more lively, more helpful? And you're like, I just want to get my stuff. I just want to get my things. I don't really need any help. I don't need any assistance, but they insist. They insist on helping you to get to this thing. And then ultimately it just becomes a bad experience because you're not getting what you need. You're actually being averted from what you need because they are deeming what you need as not important. They are looking at what they can bring to you and what they're trying to bring to you. And ultimately it comes down to, this is a sale. This is what they need to be able to get a promotion, get a raise, whatever it is. Allow their numbers to look good at the end of the week. It's not you. They're doing what they need to do to get by. That's a narcissist. It's not you. You aren't so broken. You aren't so wide-eyed and puppy-tailed. I know that's not the phrase, but it just felt right. You're not so much of that it's inevitable. If you do keep moving in that space of not realizing what's happening around you, yeah, it can almost feel inevitable. So the power is in you, and the power is in boundaries. Narcissists hate boundaries. A narcissist and a boundary don't meet. They go that way. And if you have boundaries, and I mean clear-cut boundaries, I mean boundaries in which I said what I said, I know what I'm doing, I know what I want, and if you cannot bring that to my space without harming me in the meantime, or harming me in the onset, there's nothing for you here. We gotta go. We gotta go. And so the narcissist hates boundaries, and they can't easily screw with someone who has boundaries, someone who knows what they will not tolerate, what they will, and will not be so easily wooed by like, oh, I went to Japan and built a temple to myself. I was the person that actually helped to make another Great Wall of China. That was me. And I also went into Africa and told them, put them black babies down for your photo shoot. Don't keep doing that. Or you'll get, again, the sob story. You have the success stories and all the grandiose things that these individuals have done, but then you also have the sob story. Oh, my mama kicked me in the face when I was born and I've never gotten over it. Oh, my dad, I don't know, help me. Here's a perfect example of a sob story. And trigger warning. In Surviving R. Kelly, the first onset of the series of the 3 episodes, Drea discusses how in the beginning of their relationship, he immediately came in with all the things that had gone wrong in his life, leading from childhood up to now. From him not really knowing how to read, from him being taken advantage of, from him being harmed, leading up to where he was now. And whether or not it was a conscious effort to trap her in this cycle of giving, it worked. And she herself spoke on how it affected her and how she felt like she needed to be there for him so that he wouldn't be hurt by her. She wouldn't be the next person in line to have done him wrong or have caused him pain or caused him suffering or whatever. And she did not realize that in that happening to her, that sob story being poured all over her, he had already projected onto her what he wanted her to believe, that he is someone needing to be saved. And when you come across the person that is willing to do whatever they need to do to save you, yeah, that's an example of a sob story. When we think of narcissists that come in either with a success or the sob story, they are looking to pull you onto their side and hoping that you will take that information and go, oh, I would never do that to them. I will never be the person to harm them. And by that understanding, they got you. And at that point, they could do whatever they want. So how do you stop the cycle? First, with boundaries. Second, with understanding that nothing you could have done would have made this any different. And I say that because nothing you can do will change a narcissist. Nothing you can do will cause them to do anything different. In my own experience with dating a narcissist, it was very much the sob stories in the very beginning. It was also a lot of love bombing and declarations and well-meaning intentions and how things were going to be, and oh, I need you in my life. I've never met anyone like you. And if you're someone who grew up parenting themselves or needing to parent themselves or being someone who was ignored or not really paid a lot of attention to growing up, that desire to be wanted, needed, understood, it's like a flashing light to the narcissist to go, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I'm not talking about pick me mentality. It's not what I'm talking about. But pick me, pick me, pick me. I'll fix it. I'll do it. I'll whatever. Da, da, da. And the narcissist hone in. Oh, let me go get that one over there. Because she going to get me everything I want. He going to give me everything I need. They going to give me everything I desire in this space. Because they can. So you begin to change the pattern and begin to change the behavior by realizing and picking up on it in the very beginning. Yeah, we like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but the person that's coming in hot with no real reason why, outside of them just being egotistical, outside of them just, yeah, you know, I did that thing, that's a red flag. Because one, a conversation should be a conversation. It should be a dialogue versus you watching someone monologue about the things that they've done. Secondly, it should not involve these declarations too early. Yes, we love a fairy tale, but fairy tales are just that. And from somebody who's recovering from, oh, I want the fairy tale. Fairy tales are what Disney and all them other folk be doing. And that's not what we do over here. So acknowledging that, no, something about this does not feel right, and listening to that intuition, listening to that feeling rise up in you to go, and not making yourself feel bad. Not allowing yourself to feel bad. Oh, I'm questioning this person that's coming over and they're telling me they're going to buy me Switzerland and I should be really, really happy. No. You will do yourself a disservice by ignoring that and allowing them to keep speaking. You don't have to be rude. You know, if you want to be rude. But you don't have to be rude. You can literally just go, you know what? I've had a time talking to you. It's been a time. Can't say it's been great, but it's been a time. And I need to go and make your exit. As someone who has dealt with narcissistic people, but majority of them in my relationships, I did not realize I was with a narcissist until it was too late. And by then I had been harmed in one way, shape, or another. So it's very difficult to just tell somebody just to leave. So when I say that, I'm saying that in the very beginnings of that, so you don't hopefully deal with the repercussions of staying in something for too long, with the understanding that it can be very hard and difficult to leave a narcissist because everything's a game. Everything's a moment of one-upmanship of how can I harm this person so they don't harm me. And it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride. Those of us that are in recovery from dealing with narcissists, it can be really difficult. But ultimately, what I say to you is, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. There is nothing you could have done. that this is not the time to look at, oh, well, if I wouldn't have gone to that bar, if I wouldn't have worn that thing, if I wouldn't have asked them that question, if I wouldn't have, you and we were working with what we knew at the time. We were doing the best that we could with the information that we had at the time. We cannot go back and apply what we know now to what we knew then. That person, yes, they exist in some timeline or another, but where you are currently is what's most important. So it's really difficult, I understand, to look back at that and go, why did I do that? It's very easy to do that, but it's not helpful. It doesn't help you. Get around friends, get around people, go to therapy, find a group of individuals who will listen to you and not immediately launch into, well, this is what I would have done. Well, you should have did this. Why you ain't see that coming? Don't get around those people. Don't share with those people. Share with those, whether it's a minister, a pastor, a close friend, a therapist, however you need to work through this thing. Share with those individuals. This was hard. It was heartbreaking, and my mind is still wrapping the rest of my psyche around what just happened. Yeah, that's gonna happen for a while, and it's understandable. Take solace in knowing there's nothing you could have done differently that would have changed this person's behavior. Nothing. So with that, I talked about how we define narcissism, where those terms come from, and how to recover. If you're like me and you've dealt with narcissism in life, especially in relationships, you know how difficult it can be to recover. You know how difficult it can be to try to look past those things. But I'm telling you, once you get to the other side, however long it needs to take, what that other side looks like for you, you deserve to be on that other side. No narcissist should be able to take that away from you. All right. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, this is Joi from the Joi Element, and like, share, and subscribe if you agree with me, and let me know in the comments anytime that you've dealt with a narcissist, because it can be hell. But let me know and let's talk about it. And until next time, see y'all later. Bye. Oh, and stay safe, wash your hands, and don't go outside.